Hello again. Thank you for joining me. This is Air Job Boss TV, and today it's a continuation of our pilot interview question and answer series where I explain questions, their meaning, and an appropriate answer. And today the question in subject is, tell me about a time you worked with somebody you didn't like. Okay? That's difficult. So in answering this, what's going to happen is they want to know, how do you react in situations where you have to tolerate somebody you don't really like? Because of course in professional aviation you're mated with a first officer or a captain, and it is likely from time to time you will have personality conflicts that prevent you from actually admiring and liking that person. But of course, nevertheless, duty is preeminent, yeah? And so they want to hear a story about where you didn't like somebody, and you're not going to focus on the fact that you didn't like them. You're going to focus on the fact that irregardless of whether I like somebody or not, I have a duty to accomplish. And if you're a captain, if the story is about you being a captain, then it's a leadership duty, and which requires good communication, even with somebody you don't like. So your skill level in communicating or conflict resolution has to be demonstrated as high at this answer, because that is what quality, what value, and what skill is being employed. That communication is easy when you get along with people. Building rapport is easy. Okay? And also problem solving and conflict resolution obviously is easy when you're getting along well with the group or the individual. So I will make a fictitious person, fictitious scenario, and I will try to include some of those key aspects, those core values and those skills, and try to speak those words during the answer. It's very important that you tell them the actual word of what you're going after, what key value you're trying to demonstrate. So let me make one up. The question again is, tell me about a time you worked with somebody you didn't like. Well, it's rare that you run into a professional that you quote unquote don't like, but from time to time I do have personality conflicts with other people. It's rare, but I can remember one story in particular. I was a first officer flying with a captain that I had been told was not very well liked. Nevertheless, I was going to approach this from a professional standpoint, doing my job and ignoring that information, because maybe this was a personal bias as somebody who came before me, and maybe I would not experience that. So I didn't want to carry in that bias. So I showed up to work, and I right away could sense that this person was going to be difficult to get along with. They were kind of an era where command authority was prioritized over rapport and communication. So the style was very one way, and an order came down, and I was expected to carry out the order, really not question it too much, and be happy, not really participating in the problem solving process. Now, as a professional aviator, I find this counter to effective problem solving and conflict resolution. So I knew it was my duty, irregardless of whether his style was not as elevated in professionalism, mine would have to rule the day and kind of continue to be a durable asset, irregardless of whether I didn't like this person. So the day went on. This captain did make a lot of people around him uncomfortable. I found it slightly embarrassing the way he was talking with people, and I would then hint to him, he would complain about, well, these people aren't doing what I want, and I would say something like, well, perhaps it's your delivery, maybe you should soften the tone a little bit, which of course did not help and did not change that personality whatsoever. But it was my responsibility to continue to try to communicate and build rapport with the captain, to open the line of communication. So if I had something important to say, I could participate and I could continue to communicate with him, and my inputs would be accepted. So that takes a little bit of putting myself in his shoes and being really sympathetic about how I don't know if he'd had problems with first officers, problems with co-workers, or what type of training and history he had gone through that gave him this kind of hard attitude. So throughout the trip, I just continued to talk as much as I could, get to know him better, more personally, ask him his hobbies, what his background was, and kind of build an allied relationship to him, irregardless of me really not appreciating his leadership style. I just wanted to continue to build that rapport so that line of communication was intact, because if something was to go wrong, I really needed him to hear me at that time. So the trip was relatively successful, and nothing untoward happened, but it was difficult to watch him day after day kind of making people just unhappy, and it was an unpleasant situation. But at the end of the day, I was pleased that I continued to work as a professional even though I didn't like him, and I made safety and my duty a priority. All procedures were done in a manner consistent with SOPs, and I didn't let that negativity infect my processes. And I thought that was really kind of an important test, and I always use that moving forward, is I do not let the fact that I don't like somebody infect my standard operating procedure and prioritizing safety, efficiency, and customer service. Okay, that was kind of a long, drawn-out answer. Keep in mind that if you have a 45-minute interview and they ask you 6 to 8 questions, you're really going to have to spend about 5 minutes on each question. So you kind of got to talk a lot. Now, I try to drop in a lot of descriptive words that were core competencies and values of the airline you're interviewing with. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to describe a situation where communication broke down and something bad happened as a result and you were a hero and had to come and fix it. That is kind of an impulse of a lot of people, like, well, this person was terrible, they did something wrong, I came in and I fixed it and I was the hero. You're better to take a lower aggressiveness and go within yourself and tell them you're durable against people you don't like, and they do not affect basically your general operating procedures and policies, right? And you're going to continue to like that person, not settle on disliking them. You want to show them that you're going to continue your communication and you're going to try to get to like that person. You're going to try to find something that you like about that person and open that avenue of rapport and communication so you can be an effective pilot. Yeah? All right. That's it for this question. If you need more help in formulating answers, I'd be happy to do so. You can contact me at info@airjobboss.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have in regard to my one-on-one interview preparation service. You can click the link below at airjobboss.com to find out more. Also, share, like, and subscribe my videos, please, so I can expand Air Job Boss TV. Thank you so much for joining me. See you at the next video.